Hello everyone and welcome back to round 2 of the Mesgp World Supersport 25 Championship on GP bikes. Now today we go to Adriatic, which is a bad clone of Misano. In my opinion, is of course the base track in GP bikes, and it's a bit of a clunky track, to be fair. Track overall grip is down, some of the curbs are just real death curbs, like milestone curves almost, but it is the destination for round 2 here. Now we are in qualifying here on Saturday for race 1. And for one reason or another, I just didn't click very much on Saturday in my pace. Qualifying didn't really go to plan. Couldn't really get a clean, fast lap in. All my laps were a bit kind of mediocre. And it actually ends up only being a 36.0, which isn't that quick for me. And a middle of the second row, so it's our by far worst qualifying of the year. And it's left us a lot of work to do really in race 1. So it's kind of coming into the first race with a slight lack of confidence until we got to warm up, when basically we went out and warm up, did put on the race setup, and we did a 35.5. So somehow we found half a second on a race setup over our qualifying setup. So worked that one out. I don't know how that works. That just kind of sums up my one lap pace really. That when I go looking for this, not there, but I could nearly do consistent laps like that all the time. So here we are now on the grid for race 1, and it's going to be a difficult race. We're up against some very fast guys. There's 4 guys ahead of me that definitely have some good pace. It's a messy little start off the launch. You can see Agus there gets connected with Billy Jones. Unfortunately, the MV Augusta rider does end up falling before you get to turn 1. The rest of us do look safely through the opening S section, and we're up now to P3. Alcalá didn't get a very good start, so we managed to get him nice and early, which was a bonus. But pretty much so far I'm thinking that right, we made up for our kind of poor qualifying. One rider's crashed, we jumped the other off the line, and I just feel like at the moment I just felt like I had a small bit more pace at this point over Foxer. He goes to just defend the inside a bit more, but we kind of go again looking for it, but on the opening lap I don't really want to break that deep, and he goes quite wide, so he's going to have a slight compromise mid corner, but he should get a good run. But at this point I'm thinking, right, if he's just a bit off it, I might just try and force the move to, which I do. I go a touch wide, but I do manage to just pick the bike up and get a good run out, and all the way to Cavoni now. So up to P2, brilliant start, kind of undone all my bad qualifying, if you will. And now I have to go after probably the fastest man in here, Billy Jones, the Italian in Italy. It's going to be quite hard to catch him, but I did notice in practice qualifying in some of the races that I do seem to have slight pace advantage through the high speed stuff. Shocked if corner speed is on good, but through Cavoni and the other rights and drone into the very tight right hander, I felt quite good and strong. But this last sector, these double lefts, just couldn't get the bike to naturally turn. But at this point of the race, we kind of already taken a bit of time out of Billy Jones, so I think it's right, let's just kind of push on and see if we can get a mistake out of him. We jump to the following lap here now, and through Corvone, he's not particularly well, and then the next right-hander gets it all wrong. We make a bit of a mistake there, just go too aggressive to the curb, which means I compromise my exit too much. I actually give Billy Jones too much room on entry, which means if I just kind of maybe stayed in the middle of the track, he wouldn't have the cutback, and I would have got the lead. And we all kind of know when I get the lead, I'm usually pretty good at kind of running at the front, so I'm stuck behind him again, which is a bit unfortunate, but we're feeling decent at this point, so there wasn't really any case to worry, as we'd already taken the lead for a split second, and we're kind of showing off good pace again. So at this point in the race, and right now, pretty confident. We had done a pretty decent couple of laps, so I just kind of feel right, we just need to kind of settle in and see where this race takes us. But kind of as the race went on, I actually started making more and more mistakes, and it just started to get harder and harder to do my laps. And you can see here now, another lap later, just after come through the fast sector, and you can just see a perfect example of how this track is quite low grip. Bike tends to slide at all, it doesn't seem to come back in line as quite easily, and all the work we've done over the previous laps to get onto the back wheel of Billy Jones unfortunately has been undone. So it's going to be a difficult race from here, and we're now on lap 5. And once again, it's Corvone, it's the probably the most difficult corner on the track. We probably take a bit too much curb, lose the front, pushes the rear, pushes out wide, and we have to go over the curb twice, which kind of compromises our run, and that leaves Foxer into P2. We have a look down into difficult right-hander, but unfortunately he's just far enough ahead that he can squeeze my front end and just not let me through. And I think throughout the practice and qualifying and the racing, he did look like he had a bit more on these two lefts at the end of the track. So I am going from leading the race to putting pressure on Billy to now back to P3 and struggling by looks of it to keep with Foxer. So a bit of a worrying mid-sector of this race here for me. So I was thinking, right, we need to kind of pull ourselves together. So A lap later, Foxer does a very similar to me, goes touch wide a bit later in the sector. But now we're back up to P2. And Billy looks maybe like he's made a few mistakes because he doesn't seem as far ahead. So I'm thinking the win is still on here. We can still win this one. So we have kind of 3 laps after this one left. So let's kind of keep pushing on. See if we can kind of get close to the back of him. We've seen already this track. And you do make a slight mistake, it can bite you. So anyone's race really at this point in the race. But unfortunately, we are about to make our first mistake of the championship into turn 1. Just pushing on slightly too much. And we just touched the inside curb. And this track is very, very lethal when you touch curb. So straight down I went. And it's going to be P4 on Saturday. So qualified P5. Showed some good pace. Showed a bit of good hand-to-hand combat. But unfortunately it's only P4. So I was kind of okay with it. I'd gone forward. Again, decent points overall. And I kind of had learned a couple of things for Sunday's race. So I knew Sunday had to qualify slightly better. As I think if I could get away clean at the start, it would be just better. Because I didn't think people would make as many mistakes. Now here we are on Sunday. And people are just starting to kind of hang around looking for toes. So I just kind of back up here. And I just don't really want people following me. I don't like the idea of someone on my back wheel. But I was much happier with my performance on Sunday in qualifying. I'd done a small bit of tweaking of the bike Saturday evening before Sunday and Sunday morning. So the bike has been, again, I think the one race of a Saturday, you do kind of go back and you learn a lot from that. So you can make slight changes and you learn a few things about the bike under a race situation. But up to the line now we come, or we're about to go provisional pole position with a 1 minute 35.5. Which is a really, really, really fast lap time. And I was really happy. And I actually parked it after that because I was thinking, right, I'm not really going to get much out of this other than crashing. And the last lap for Foxer and the last lap for Billy Jones beat me. And unfortunately, it is P3. But nonetheless, front row, a improvement over my qualifying on Sunday. So I was pretty happy. Now, unfortunately, Agus halfway around the warm-up lap, you can see he's still there. And basically ends up staying there for the rest of the warm-up lap and gets DQ'd, unfortunately. So we do miss out immediately one of the fast guys, but we still have Alpha, myself, Billy and Foxer, and we all get away pretty clean off the grid for race 2 as well. Tumble our way down to turn 1. Billy Jones takes an early lead, goes a touch wide, and whether it's a bit of front end chatter or just a change in camber, it just slides out, unfortunately. So race 1 winner from yesterday has already tipped off at turn 1, and that's let me have a clear run at Foxer for the race win for this one. You'd imagine crashing at turn 1 with the sort of pace that we all had on Saturday, and barring any mistakes from me and Foxer, you would imagine Billy probably really won't get back to us, as that will be a massive uphill task crashing at turn 1. But immediately opening lap I look to be quicker again than Foxer. This time it doesn't make as much of a mistake into Quersha on race 2, so I can't really go for the move there. It was quite wide here, and again think about maybe going for a bit of lunge into the next right-hander, Tremonto I believe, but again he seems a bit more kind of just has his wits about him in race 2. He's not blowing as many corners early on, but we get a great run out, and now we're on the way to one of the fastest corners in the world, Corvone, and we really get a good run through it, and we just kind of pick the bike up, go to the inside, and we take the lead early in race 2. But unfortunately we go wide, and he has a bit of a lunge back at us. Unfortunately, a small bit of contact, shades of Rossi Lorenzo 2016, and we get pushed wide. So I'm thinking to myself now, right, he's kind of going to leave the brake off and push kind of an overtake like that. There's no point pretty much battling him for now, because there's no point either of us going down so early in the race, battling each other so hard. So at this point thinking, right, let's just kind of settle in, let's stick in behind him, let me kind of go into the race, kind of get the tyres into the window, drop a bit of fuel load down, and just kind of let the bike come to me and see where we're at, maybe half race distance, and push from there. Ideally I do want to get ahead of him because I like to lead races. I don't particularly like being tucked up behind someone. I find it's much harder to run my own race, and just overall the pace isn't as good usually when I'm on the back of someone. So I was kind of thinking to myself, again, if we can maybe just sit here, maybe force a mistake ideally and kind of get a move, but we go for a bit of a different move now. You can see we're slipstreaming. He goes very defensive, we keep very much to the outside, and he's breaking very much off the optimum line, so he goes a touch wide. We do as well, to be fair, but we can square it off and get a great exit, and we're not level yet with him, but we do decide to go for a bit of a lunge into the next right-hander. Unfortunately we just go quite wide, unfortunately, but that does mean we get a good drag and kind of slingshot out of the corner, and on our way now to Corvone Once again, and we're going to basically try the same move. We get a great drive through the fast right, and again up the inside, and we are millimeters away from touching into the penultimate right, and we keep it slightly tighter this time. But once again, he kind of goes for it, and I kind of just see him last second, so I don't give him a bit of space because it's quite easy. They could collide there, but into these double Fs at the end of the lap, we do just manage to kind of force him out. We had the better line, and into the last corner, Mazzano corner, we regained the lead for, I think, like the third time at this point in the race. So I'm thinking now, right, if you can't get ahead of me in sector 1, I need to start putting down some nice clean laps, which is what I did till about lap 6. And then I just started making some silly mistakes, and unfortunately I left Foxer right back on me, and any opportunity he was going to get in this race he was going to take. So down into Querch, I brake really late, he brakes ridiculously late, and we were never going to get that stopped. I had to release the brake when he came past, and we both went a bit wide. But the fact he kind of went for a bit of a lunge like that, I was thinking, right, I'm going to try the same here. So I really go late in the brakes here. Unfortunately, he looks like he goes a bit wide himself. He just picks the bike up, which just allows me to get back into the lead. And again, I just picked my bike up, drift out to the curb, kind of cut his nose off, so he can't really go back around the outside of me. And I knew I was getting much better drive out of Tremonto to Carvone, so I was thinking this part of the track shouldn't be an issue at all for me. So this point in the race now, it was just about if we can just get clean qualifying style laps and stay at the front of the race. He's proved very difficult to overtake me at the moment. So I was thinking to myself, if I don't make any mistakes, he's going to have to pull something pretty extreme and over the limit to make a pass stick at this point, because he's already tried a couple and one or two bits of contact and one kind of excursion off the racetrack. So we have a flashback there as now we cut now to start of lap 10, and I'm just thinking, no, right, one clean lap and it is race win for me. So we go through sector 1 nice and clean. He's only a tenth, maybe 10th or 2 behind me, so there's not much in it at the moment. And I'm thinking, right, if we just make sure we hit our braking marks down into this difficult corner here, rear corner, turn 4, just need to make sure we get it stopped, which you do. You can just see there how close he is. So when you're racing, you don't really know how close he is at all, but I must say I felt like he was riding pillion with me for pretty much whole of this second race. I think at one point we got the gap to about 0.7 on lap 6 before I made a couple of silly mistakes and I drove the pressure back on. But down into difficult turn 8 Quercia, we have just about maintained again, so we're just doing enough on this final lap to keep Foxer at bay really. So again, the gap out of Quercia looks way bigger, but then on the entry here you can see he looks much closer again. So it's always back and forth, so it's a constant kind of zigzag. But we jump on board now with Foxer for this last kind of run in, and he's after getting a good bit of slipstream here, so he is catching me just as we get to the entry to Carvone. Through Carvone I kind of stabilised the gap, and he's a bit of a moment at the curb, but he manages to keep going. But unfortunately he does end up getting in a bit hot. I'm not too sure if that was more a mistake from him running kind of in too deep, because I don't think if I'm not there he's making that corner anyway. But it pretty much at that point did kind of rule out him making any sort of attempt. I reckon he might have been able to try something in here. Probably would have been very aggressive and probably run us both wide. Maybe shades of Marquez and Belega in the Ducati Race Cup there not long ago. But we do get the win. Brilliant win, probably the best so far I've had. And we've got a lovely picture there of the two of us, two FDR teammates coming across the line for our third or fourth 1-2. I can't even remember this. I know we did 2 in Catalonia and then another one here, so it's 3 overall. So brilliant result for us here so far. But it's Foxer who gets the fastest lap. I take the win. Siamai Piova came home in P3, so I think that's his first podium of the season. The championship is looking very favourable in my favour. 89 points to 57 to Foxer. Billy Jones and Alpha Claw only a point separating them in P3 and P4. So it's been a brilliant round again for me. Coming into this, I didn't have much hopes because I felt a bit limited by this track, that I couldn't really extract the maximum out of the bike because of just kind of how awkward it felt at some points. But I think we managed to turn it around again between Saturday and Sunday, because again we just didn't really have a lot on Saturday. I felt I think we had a couple of good laps in the race which made it look like we were quicker. I think we capitalised on a couple of mistakes from Foxer and Billy as well to make it look like we were a bit better, and we got off the line better than Alpha, so that kind of negated that. But it was one of those races where it just felt like that I was just missing something, but I felt like I had a lot more in hand on Sunday when it came to fighting hand to hand with Foxer. But we are going to leave it there. I hope you have enjoyed. We'll be back next week for Assen for round 3, the penultimate round of the championship, and let's hope we can get another win there and keep this good form going. So thank you all for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. If you did, drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I shall catch you in a future video in the not so distant future. Thanks for watching. Slán go fóill.